The opening part where the zombie's eye is shown, the makeup is effective because it shows how old the zombie is. It also can look quite scary to the audience. We automatically see the setting is in a house. We aren't shown the outside at this point. This could show that they are trying to find somewhere to sleep and rest for the next day. Going on to the next location. Further on in the clip, we are shown that they are in a woodland type area. This shows that they could be exposed to everything that could be around them. This also can show us the point of them trying to survive because we cannot see anything else around them to help them survive. The facial expressions on their faces show that they are very fearful of these zombies if they are trapped in different situations, and this is shown throughout. The zombie shows that he is quite beat up with bruising around his eye. This can show they are starving too, meaning they will eat any human that comes towards them. This is also why Rick and the others have to eliminate them to help their chances of survival. When they come running into the house, this can show that they need to eliminate the threats put towards them at their given time. When they are running away into the house, it kind of shows a sense of urgency towards the viewer. As they enter the kitchen, you see Rick and Carl. They are looking cautious as they enter in case they get attacked. Rick checks before letting Carl in there on his own. When Rick and Daryl are behind a door in this part of the scene, which looks like some sort of storage room, they hear each other and go to high alert. As Rick gets closer to the door, it builds tension because they don't know what they're getting themselves into. This carries out until they realize and see each other. The low-key lighting adds effect to this part because it kind of shows that they don't have the light surrounding them to be completely safe. When this room is shown, that the house can be quite empty because everything has been taken or just never had much in. We also get a close-up of Rick's face in this part because it establishes the fear on his face. As Carl enters the kitchen area, you see that everything is everywhere. This shows that someone may have already been there. It also shows how old everything is because of how badly the boxes are destroyed and everything around it. You also can see his hoodie as we have a shot of his back. This hoodie looks like it has been worn forever, meaning they do not have the luxuries that they would have if it was a normal place and not taken over by zombies. Zombies' costumes are torn. This is the same with the main characters, and it also can signify the fact that it's a run-down world and they cannot get any better clothing because of the conditions, and it also would be too risky to not die while doing it. In addition, the zombies' makeup is effective because it makes them look like the real zombies and can look aesthetic towards the viewer's perception of what is happening. The costume and makeup gives a good perception on the conventions that are usually shown in a horror film. The directors used the conventions while during this by using the sense of vulnerability and can show the terror of the unknown because you do not know what's going to happen. The clip shows low-key lighting throughout. This can show the fact that there's very little light left in the woods because the sky is being blocked by the trees. This also conveys the fact that it is just a really dark and dim time and it should not have a bright shine put on it because it is not a normal world. This also links to it being a kind of horror and survival kind of genre. This is because it is typical of these sorts of shows to use this to signify the horror because it is a dark atmosphere. Because the characters are on their feet all day, the makeup is very effective in showing they are run down and exhausted. It also conveys to us as an audience that they are struggling to survive with very little food. As Carl opens a can of pet food, we can tell what type of food this is by the little picture of the owl on the front of the tin. But while Carl is opening the tin, Rick throws it away, and it seems to be a sense of anger because he can't get any proper food for himself and the others. Rick then throws it away. This is because he also has discussed in himself that he cannot provide proper food for him and the others, and this is why he is upset that they have to go to those lengths to not be hungry. This also is shown through having dirty clothes and not being able to wash. This can cause different side effects towards your personal feelings because you may not want to be like that, but you have no other choice in that situation. As we look outside of the window, near the end of the clip, we are shown T-Dog looking through the window. We also see the zombies. T-Dog almost looks like he looks twice at the small herd of zombies before coming at them, and he goes on to warn the other people with body language. This is when they leave, and this is effective because it shows they almost have to think and be on high alert at all times because of the dangers surrounding them and what it may cause to the others. This also gives us a perspective of what they go through day in, day out. And this includes not being washed and having bad clothing. You can tell Rick is the leader of the group. This is because when we were in the living room area, we see Rick still stood up and most of the others are sat down. This is because of his body language. This also conveys dominance over the others. You can see that the others are hungry and thirsty by the expressions on their faces. This shows they don't have much to live from, and it kind of shows why we wouldn't want to be in that same situation. The first thing I noticed while watching this scene of The Walking Dead was that there is no dialogue. This can say they had to be quite quiet so they don't lure any zombies towards them because they are attracted by sound. This is not planned very well though, as when Rick and T-Dog come bursting into the house to scavenge for food, they make so much noise even though they're not trying to. When you first look into the zombie's eye, you can see that it zooms out. As this happens, the music rather shows a short sense of anticipation. Then when T-Dog stabs the zombie in the head, the breaking of the glass sound is effective because it gives the viewer a sense of adventure. This is because they can just imagine how it must be living in these conditions with no food and being starving, and how you have to take risks to get food in those conditions. When they're all in the house, you sense a bit of nerves. This is when Rick is in the storage room before he opens the door just to find Daryl there, and he thinks that it was a threat. This is built up with the tension of music, and this is effective because you do not know what to expect from that situation. The sound effects get louder, this including music, floorboard creaks, and other noises that are going on around the house. This is effective because it builds the tension within the scene and can make you scared because you become worried about their well-being. The camera switches a lot during the scene. This is due to the director wanting to put different messages across to you just with the angles and expressions shown with these angles. The different angles really hit home with showing the emotion and lack of emotion shown on some of the characters. The lack of the emotion comes from the characters because they feel like they cannot physically show any emotion because of having no food or drink, and a lack of sleep can have a bad effect on their health. I feel like some of the camera angles are used for effect, such as the first part, where the camera zooms out of the eye of the zombie. This could indicate that they are trying to get across that it is a zombie's world, and it will always be that from now on. I get this because you always see zombies in one part of the episode, so they're trying to express the point of it not being a normal world anymore. The shot of Carl when he enters the kitchen is good because of the angle. We can see the kitchen and how run down it looks just from first impressions. We see how old Carl's jacket is. This shows us the extent they have to go through to wear their clothes because they cannot get any others. This gets us thinking about how bad it must be and how we wouldn't like it if we were in that situation.